Hello, hey fam, happy Wednesday, happy Wednesday. We are here with Roslyn Moore, guys, from Roslyn Cares. You are in the hot seat. Guys, I'm going to let you guys kind of just come on in and join the room. We're live on Facebook and live on YouTube, and we're going to be talking about packaging and pricing today, guys. How to package up your services. We have probably about 75% coaches or service providers in some type of way. And a lot of you guys asked me about packaging and then how to market those packages. We're going to talk about a little bit as well. And how to put something together that is not only something that's going to be a win-win for your client and a reasonable price for them, but also is going to be a win for you. And it's something you can actually service on a scalable level. So we want to make sure that we balance both of those. So Roslyn has some specific questions, but before I have her start with her questions, I'm going to go ahead and have her introduce herself, guys. As you're popping in, if you could just tell me where you're from and the name of your organization or the type of nonprofit organization you have, if you have one, that would be great. And I can shout you guys out as well. But Roslyn, tell us a little bit about yourself and the nonprofit and what you all's mission is.
Oh, well, I'm Roslyn Moore. I'm from the state of South Carolina, and I cover the PD area. That's what I'm from Lake City. I have a nonprofit called Roslyn's Cares Foundation, and my nonprofit focuses on the at-risk and disadvantaged populations. And we have several programs like autism, mental health counseling, health awareness, and bullying. And we work on the girls' mentor group, so there's a lot going on.
Well, yes. What would you say is your baby right now, like, or is your prime program? If you could only fund one right now, which one would you pick?
It would definitely be the mental health. That's what I put all my time, all my money in to educate the people. So it'll definitely be mental health.
Awesome. So mental health, the therapy portion, that specific portion. When you break down the mental health portion, is there a specific area you would say you specialize in, like trauma, violence or domestic violence, things like that, youth, or is it kind of mental health in general?
I would say more depression, anxiety.
Okay. Okay. That's good.
Social anxiety, stuff like that.
Okay. That's good because number one, that is definitely a niche down area. Absolutely. And number two, it's an area that's needing a lot of help right now. Most people, are dealing with some type of anxiety right now, some type of social thing, so that's an area that's always important. One of my biggest sayings is be a part of the solution, find ways to be part of the solution. And to be a part of the solution, you have to find out where the problems are. And I'm definitely seeing a lot of that. So that's awesome. Hello, Nelson. Thanks for joining us today. Hello, Lisa. Chandler Community Fellowship. I would love to have you on again. Yes, it's a religious organization. All right. So we have your mission. Guys, if you want to check out her website after we're done here, her website is Roslyn Cares, and I'll make sure that I put it in the link below, .org. Hello, Maurice. He has a nonprofit organization. Great pathway to multiple streams of income. Absolutely. Okay, so he may be creating one or just making a comment there as well. But absolutely. One of the things I really believe in, Maurice, is having 5 streams of income minimum per family, per nonprofit, per business, because when one of the areas may not be flowing very well, another area is. So a lot of times nonprofits focus on grants only, which we are applying for some grants, and grants is a piece, but there's also multiple ways that you can bring in money as a nonprofit, such as businesses and services. That's one of my favorite, services and products, which is one of my favorite areas to bring in funding, because you have control over it. So with that being said, let's talk about the service that you're working on right now that you're pricing, and just dig into your question, Robin.
I'm working on my mental health counseling program, and I want to know all about the sliding scale and see if it's a good sliding scale for the area that I'll be working with, which I stay in South Carolina. I'm certified a certificate of need for South Carolina, but I want to do the whole U.S.
Okay. Awesome. And so I know a little bit. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I just want to make sure the prices are good.
That makes sense. Yeah. Now, the first thing that you did which was good, you did your homework. I know that you found some comparables in your area, correct?
Correct.
So with those comparables, what was the average that you were finding?
It was basically like $70 to $90 an hour.
An hour per session.
Yeah.
So I know that you go ahead.
Those are the like regular sessions, but for a sliding scale, they go by the salary of the families.
Okay.
So
So it would be like $75 to $100. Let's just say $100 for even numbers. So $100 per session is what they normally charge, and then they do the sliding scale as far as income based or something of that nature, where it could go down to whatever amount as well. Correct? Okay, gotcha. Okay, so with that being said, you want to do a sliding scale base for your organization. You're a nonprofit organization. I know you sent me some details of possibly doing a monthly type program. Does that mean that they're going to get an hour of therapy per month?
absolutely.
Okay, so they
But
would do.
usually it's actually an hour per week.
Hmm. So this is
that's I'm trying to get them because nobody does that.
Awesome. That's awesome. This is the problem that I'm seeing, guys. So I'm going to give you a little bit of background, and we're going to work it out because I'm trying to figure it out. And maybe I don't see it all. But if you're doing an hour a week, I know the initial cost that you were telling me was possibly 25 for sliding and 50 for full. Correct?
Mm-hmm.
So 25 if it's a lower income and 50 for full. If you're doing, and that's monthly, or is that weekly costs?
That's weekly.
That is weekly. Okay, there we go. Okay, that's not bad. I thought you were saying monthly, because one of the biggest problems that I see when it comes to nonprofit pricing and pricing in general is maybe pricing a little bit under what you're worth. And the thing is, you do want to make sure that you can, for those people who can't afford your services, that you have opened up that gateway or opened up that window for them to fully be able to pay those full prices. But at the same time, you're also helping people who may need to save a little bit as well. So I was just making sure that you were pricing in a way, not in a way that's not sustainable for you. A lot of times when we're first starting, some of the biggest mistakes I see is we'll kind of really, really underprice. And then you'll get clients and they'll start, but you can't really serve them properly because you haven't really priced it accordingly. But with that being said, per week, for you to do a sliding scale of the bottom of the scale being 25, sorry about that, the bottom of the scale being 25, and then the top of the scale, I would make the top of the scale whatever the average is, as opposed to 50. Because again, you don't want to close that door. So if someone can afford the 100, you want them to be able to pay the 100 as well.
Right.
Does that make sense? So that's the main thing I would change with that. And then, so you're going to be doing the weekly component. Is there going to be the only other thing I would adjust possibly in your service base that I wish I had known before I started everything was, instead of starting just solely, even though it's a one-on-one basis and it's like a therapeutic type thing, if you stream it down to a specific niche. So if you decide, hey, I'm going to talk about anxiety, which the more niched you get down, whether you're talking about business or nonprofit, the more niched you get down into a new market, the more opportunity you have to succeed and to really touch that market, because you're competing with a smaller area. I was just talking to this with Coach Austin. He's going to be coming on this Saturday, and was just saying how there's a saying that goes that basically, if you go after everyone, you can miss. And you miss the people that you won't reach anyone. That's what it is. If you go after everyone, you won't reach anyone. And so you want to niche down. So let's say, for instance, let's just say anxiety, because that's what you mentioned. Not to say that that's going to be your micro niche there. But if you niche down to anxiety and a lot of your clients were all under anxiety window, you would be able to provide more services for them on a group basis as well. So you may be able to do a certain amount of one-on-ones and a certain amount of group sessions as well, even if you just still want to do that weekly one-on-one, which I think that's absolutely great. When you're coaching or when you're going through a breakthrough or going through transformation, you need that weekly accountability and that weekly time with someone. So I think that's a great program to be able to do it weekly. But what I would just say is, if you can add on some type of group component, that'll give you the opportunity to pause activities if you need to, if you're going on vacation or something of that nature, and still be able to keep in contact with your clientele. With the program that you're speaking of, specifically the weekly and with the sliding scale 25 to 100, how many clients do you think you would be able to serve?
I was thinking of weekly, maybe 20 to 25 for starting.
Okay. And have you worked that out on a schedule yet, as far as a time chart and things of that nature?
Yeah, that'll put me about maybe 4 to 5 a day.
And that's okay.
A lot. So if I want to increase, I can have room for people that want to get in.
Mm-hmm.
like last minute.
You'll have some room, like, okay, some extra, build that in. So you have started working on your weekly kind of time map, how you want to set things up. Have you started working on your marketing at all? I know that was one of the questions you had as far as how you're going to promote your sessions, what type of freebies you're going to be giving out and things of that nature. Have you started brainstorming on that?
No, that's my biggest question for you today.
No problem. Thank you, Nelson. I appreciate you. He said, if you sell to all, you sell to none. Thank you. So clean, so clear. I always remember the point of the saying, but then when I have to repeat it, I'm like, but yes, exactly. That's one of the marketing points right there, Roslyn. Okay. If you sell to all, you sell to none. I would say, being that you're a new, going to be a new organization in this market, I would say starting with it niche down. If you said the specific area that you have a heavy heart for is anxiety, well, guess what? Saying 3 tips. Give me a tip right now. What tip would you say is one of your best tips for helping people with anxiety? I'm sorry. Or what are your tips? Not the best tip. Not the best.
Well, with anxiety, depression, it always go about the things around you. You're changing your way of thinking. Mm-hmm. So that's one of the number one things.
Environment. Yeah. So environment. And I agree with that 110%. I was just telling, I'm a homebody. I'm a self-proclaimed homebody now. I used to be a little less of a homebody than I was prior to COVID-19. But afterwards, I'm like, okay, I don't got to go nowhere, so I don't really go out and get out a lot. But one of the reasons for that is I still get out here and there. I told my husband there's a show, some type of show that comes on where the lady, she never leaves her house. I don't know what it's called. It's a common but she never, I'm like, don't ever let me get like her. But let me tell you the reason why. It's because I've created an environment here that is a peaceful, and it's taken so long. I come from not having that peaceful environment and things like that. And so I've just created an environment that really works well for me accomplishing the things that I'm accomplishing as far as my mission and my goals and things like that. And so I just don't like shaking up the environment. And when I do get this thing called grocery store anxiety. But I used to get this even before COVID-19 and all of those things. I started in the business world before I did nonprofit. So for 10 years, I had a daycare, and I would have to do grocery shopping for 23 kids. So that's what threw me completely, then it was like, I never want to go to the grocery store again after that. So I do get, but it definitely has increased with COVID-19. So I would definitely say that there is a market out here. So if you can just do even relatable things that are current to what's going on right now and relevant right now with anxiety tips, how to have less anxiety when going out. If you are having anxiety about everything that's going on and things like that, there's so many things to talk about right now because so many people are dealing with anxiety right now. Even just like we're doing right now, anxiety hot seat, where you're like, okay, well, tell me the areas you're having issues with, and let me just a little quick 15-minute just to get your name out there. One of the things I will say is there is a point in time when it comes to marketing where, and Coach Austin will talk about this again. He's going to come on this Saturday. But we're in branding. You're first pushing the brand, which what that means is I'm showing you who I am, why I do what I do, that I'm good at what I do. That's why I'm passionate about it. So you're giving people tidbits so that they can trust that you would be a good therapist for them. So it's kind of a pushing of content. So the most important thing I would say is not to think of marketing as actually, in some cases, if you can, I say don't even start promoting packages and things like that to maybe after a month after marketing, if that's possible, just because you want to first build that relationship. I like to almost compare it to a romantic relationship. If you just meet somebody for the first time and you like, hey, so, what are you thinking about marriage? Or you just go, you know what I mean? Just go in there or what's your credit report like? Or what's, just start digging in there, but you haven't built that solid relationship. Then it just feels weird. Or in business format or in nonprofit format, if you start asking about donations or start asking about, talking about service and things like that prematurely in the relationship, no matter how good your services are and no matter how genuine and authentic you are, it can be a kind of off vibe. So it's good to first be able to create somewhat of a content bin. And that might just be You might just decide, hey, you know what? I'm going to do 7 days of content or something like that. There's ways you can speed it up where it's like, I'm going to do 7 days of content, or even what some people do is they'll do a little mini program. They'll do like a 3-day program or something of that nature in a group. So it's not going to take up as much of your time, where you're just trying to get them to a certain point. So maybe get them from step 1 to step 2, and then promote something after that, because now you've already benefited them in some way. So really thinking of it as a way of, how can I give? How can I give? How can I give? And you'll get to the point where you don't have to sell, where people will be asking you, when is your next, where they'll be coming to you for the information. Does that make sense?
Make a lot of sense.
Yep. So that's what I would say, is to start with coming up with an idea as to how much you want to do on a weekly basis as far as content, whether you want to do YouTube and video and things like that. You seem to be pretty comfortable on video and live.
First time.
You know what? Wow. And I would say, like, COVID-19 has really pushed a lot of people. Number one, a lot of people have gotten used to at least working like this. So that gives you some type of training, so to speak, or experience, even in just working on Zoom. Or I would even say to you all, like, just get on Zoom or get where you're seeing yourself on camera and just start practicing on there and practicing seeing yourself on camera. Because the toughest part is getting over your voice and how you look on camera when you haven't been on there and you haven't really seen yourself, and getting over the fact of messing up. That happens. You're live. People are forgiven, and they know you're human at that point, which is great. So yeah, I would say definitely you could do more lives like this. And in the type of work that you do, it's really easy for you to do service-based or hot seat things like this as well, because you're transformation based. So you can link with anyone, with some of the people around you, even some of your board members and things like that. I would probably say, I don't know if I know anyone right now in my life that is not dealing with some form of anxiety. I don't know. I'm like, who is it? So it is definitely a lot. Let's see. Do we have any questions here? Hello, honey. He's joined. That's my hubby. Definitely helps with my anxiety. He's my balance. He's my grounding. He's the one that said, well, I know what we're not going to do. We're not going to freak out.
Right.
That's step 1. Step 1. We're not going to freak out. Good afternoon, Tracy and everyone. I'm here to learn. Hey, Cliche. I hope I'm saying your name correctly. Good afternoon. You definitely have a lot of nuggets here. If you came in kind of on the tail end, make sure you watch it back, because we talked a lot about products and pricing specifically for services. I know a lot of you guys are services as well. Lisa, actually, I would definitely possibly see. Oh, Lisa, I love that picture of you, by the way. And I would possibly see if you guys can link together, because she is actually a life coach as well. So she does coaching. She's a veteran life coach. She's been doing it for some time. So that might be beneficial since you're in the therapeutic area. So Lisa, if you don't mind, then want to shoot me a message, that would be absolutely great. I think that would be awesome for you to just kind of get some nuggets from her as well, because she's been doing this for some time. Oh, no problem, Lisa. And she said, lovely, no problem. Was there any other questions about that specific area, marketing and services and things like that? Do you have some things a list of things you kind of know you need to work on, or goals as far as that area is concerned, or do you have any other questions for me?
Yeah, I'm gonna work on maybe some marketing pieces too, and probably do some lives and talk about certain topics that I want to focus on within the mental health counseling program.
There you go. Absolutely. And getting that plan. I actually, I'm always a firm believer of Trello. I actually do a completely different Trello board for my marketing. And this is an area I'm still growing in as well, is just having that plan marketing out there. But a lot of people really kind of swear by marketing days, where they kind of content plan and they batch create. So they just write down, that's their idea day. So when it comes to the day that you're recording, you're not trying to think of an idea. You already know I can think of so many ideas around anxiety, because like I said, if you just do interviews and you just do quick tips, 10-minute, 15-minute, that in itself is really simple. And you know that you are talking to the problem, or talking to something that's existing, a problem that's existing, because if it's a question for you, it's a question for other people. You know what I mean? So if you're helping that person, you're helping other people, and then you're getting your branding out there, and people are knowing a little bit more about Roslyn Cares.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Awesome.
All right, so I think that's it, guys. That's it for this hot seat. We actually made it on time at our 20-minute mark here, guys. If you want to be on the hot seat, if you have an area that's just kind of stifling you a little bit in your nonprofit, go ahead and reach out to me, shoot me an email message or shoot me a DM. I'm also going to have Roslyn's information under here, guys, if you want to reach out to her, if you have some additional tips, if you want to donate to her nonprofit as well. They're doing a lot of things in the community. They actually also, since she didn't post it, just dropped off what is it, 50 or 60 masks and sanitizers and things like that. Yes, to the homeless shelter as well. So they're out here being a part of the solution and helping in every way that they can. So if you guys want to connect with them, I'll have her link below as well, guys. I will see you this Saturday, and next week, it was going to be this week, but next week, the first week of November, guys, we're going to be diving into business planning. We're going to be doing a pop-up course next Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday with Coach Austin. It's going to be in the evening at 7 p.m., 3 days with us, and we're going to be walking through the entire business plan and how do you have those detailed notes and plans and all of the things that are needed that you may have to bring to funders, that you may have to bring to the bank and things of that nature so that you're fully prepared, but most importantly, so that you have a guide as to what you're supposed to be doing next in your business. We're going to be talking more about that and specifically talking about some things with concerning coaches, packaging, planning, how do you coach, how do you connect with your clients and things like that this Saturday. So make sure you chime in this Saturday at 11 a.m. and then we'll talk more about the business planning course as well. If you want more information about that, message me as well. And I will see you guys in the next live. Enjoy the rest of your evening and make sure you guys are being a part of the solution, creating those win-wins, and most importantly, taking some self-care. How important is self-care, Roslyn?
It's the number one thing that should be on your list. So.
That's it.
Out of everything.
I saw a quote that said, you should sit with yourself at least for an hour a day. And if you don't have time, sit for 2 hours. Yeah. I was like, that's good. Yes, absolutely. Take that self-care first, guys. Put that mask on first. If not, you're operating with bad machinery. So you're not making good decisions. You're not going in some of the right directions. Taking care of yourself first is what really gives you that fuel. And I'm sure that from a therapist perspective, she just gave me the nod. All right. All right, guys. We will see you in the next live. And Lisa said, absolutely, Roslyn. So we'll make sure we connect you too. Absolutely. And Nelson said, thank you. Thank you. Thank you, guys. Enjoy the rest of your day. Yep. Definitely working on self-care a lot more. Yes, tequila. Awesome. Awesome. All right. See you in the next one.